There's a problem with Mars that cannot be fixed by science, nor by any other means. They say Mars is a lifeless planet where life is not naturally possible. Scientists have found ways to keep humans alive there through technology, but perhaps the new center of human hopes has other plans for this silent red planet. A dangerous phenomenon is found here that has taken the life of NASA's Opportunity rover. Welcome once again to Dark Venture Videos. Before discussing this particular problem of Mars, we need to understand why we are risking everything and placing our hopes on a barren planet 210 million kilometers away. Look, scientists believe that all the natural resources available to humans on Earth are slowly depleting. Glaciers are melting, rivers are drying up, and living near the equator is becoming increasingly difficult day by day. According to estimates, even if we control the greenhouse effect by the year 2100, a large part of the world's glaciers will have melted, due to which fresh water will become scarce. But apart from all this, if some disaster strikes our world, such as a dangerous pandemic, global nuclear war, or an asteroid impact, then there will be no other option left to advance human civilization. And then, just like dinosaurs were annihilated from the Earth, humans could be too. To avoid this day, the search for a second home has been going on for many years, and this second home will not be on Earth, but on Mars. By then, we humans intend to build a human colony on Mars, and perhaps we may even succeed in fulfilling this dream. Scientists have chosen our neighboring planet Mars for this mission because Mars and Earth share many features, like the length of a day. A day on Mars, called a sol, is approximately 24.6 hours, meaning it's only 36 minutes longer than an Earth day. Different seasons have also been observed on Mars, just like on Earth, such as summers, winters, autumn, and spring. But these seasons are longer compared to Earth, because a Martian year is also longer. Just like Earth, ancient rivers, lakes, and traces of ice have been found on Mars. Besides this, Mars also has poles, just like Earth has north and south poles, and they are also covered in ice. Mountains, valleys, deserts, and volcanoes, all these are found on Earth and also on Mars. Even the largest volcano in the solar system is on Mars, called Olympus Mons. And finally, those scarce, gravity and atmosphere are also found on Mars. Considering all these characteristics, Mars has been chosen for human colonization. Now, although Mars is an Earth-like planet, it is not entirely Earth. For example, traces of frozen water have been found there, but this water does not flow in liquid form in rivers and streams that can simply be extracted and used. Extracting this ice from Martian soil and making it usable will require many pieces of equipment. Similarly, the second most important thing for humans is oxygen, which is 20% of the air around us in Earth's atmosphere. Mars's atmosphere only has 0.13% oxygen, and the remaining 99.87% is carbon dioxide. Advanced systems will be needed to produce oxygen there. And most importantly, the temperature on Mars is very cold even during the day, often reaching -6 degrees Celsius, and at night, it gets even colder. Strong protective suits and heat shelters will be needed to protect the human body. And yes, even if everything is found there, you cannot move freely because Mars does not have a strong magnetic field of its own to protect humans from the sun's dangerous radiation. If not protected from the sun's radiation on Mars, it can lead to diseases like cancer. To deal with all these problems, the scientific community has been working for many years. For example, NASA has a project called MOXIE to produce oxygen on Mars, which is working on converting carbon dioxide into oxygen on Mars. MOXIE will compress and heat this CO2 gas to extract oxygen from it. This process will require electricity, which will be generated from solar panels. Similarly, to protect against the cold, scientists have designed inflatable habitats and underground bases. The idea is to build these bases in Mars's deserts or under mountains. To protect against radiation, bunkers will either be built from Martian soil or specially designed heavy shielded suits, and shelters will be prepared. Some people suggest that Mars's caves can also be used. A method for water on Mars also exists. As you know, ice is present underground on Mars. NASA and the European Space Agency are developing drilling and heating technology to extract water. This water will be used for drinking, farming, and oxygen production. Solutions for oxygen, water, radiation, and cold have been found, but one last thing is needed to keep a human colony alive: food. So let us tell you that the concept of controlled environment agriculture has also been developed, meaning sealed greenhouses where air, water, and light will all be artificially controlled. These experiments have been successfully conducted by NASA in Antarctica and on the International Space Station. But there is also a problem on Mars, whose solution has not yet been found, and that problem is dust storms. Mars's red and desolate face presents a silent, lifeless landscape at first glance. Looking at pictures, this planet seems like a peaceful and lifeless place. Deserts, rocks, and the faint whistle of wind everywhere, as if time has stopped here. But in this video, look at something emerging on Mars's horizon, a terrifying wall. This is nothing but a dust storm on Mars. And this is not an ordinary dust storm. The sublimation of dry ice, that is, the direct conversion of frozen CO2 ice into air, creates such strong winds that the most terrifying storms erupt on Mars. These storms do not engulf just a city or a continent, but the entire planet. And these superstorms appear on Mars approximately every 3 years. The dust from these storms is so dense that sunlight cannot reach the ground for months. And this poses a big threat to human technology. From solar panels to communication systems, everything can fail. If humans want to build a colony on Mars, they will have to face these storms. But the problem is that we still don't understand the real reason behind these storms. Perhaps we have some idea about it, but we haven't been able to stop these storms even on Earth. So what can we say about Mars? Mars was not always a victim of dust storms. Once, this planet was also green and full of life, where a dense atmosphere and water flowed. But over billions of years, Mars dried up, and its atmosphere slowly disappeared into space. Today, Mars's atmosphere is only 1% of Earth's, which is almost negligible compared to Earth. But these dust storms do not come just because Mars is dry. Scientists believe that there is a bigger reason behind these storms: Mars's temperature. Look, when the atmosphere is dense, it blocks the sun's heat and also absorbs the heat from the ground. But because Mars's atmosphere is quite thin, if you stand there during the day, you will feel 23 degrees Celsius at your feet, while the temperature near your head will be freezing. This is because the atmosphere is too thin to absorb the heat from the ground. This large temperature difference creates strong winds, and winds bring storms. On Earth, storms bring clouds with them, but on Mars, instead of clouds, there is dust. Once this dust gets into the air, due to low gravity, it does not return to the ground for months, due to which a layer of dust stands around Mars for not just days, but months. During dust storms on Mars, wind speeds can reach up to 160 kilometers per hour. Such strong winds on Earth can blow off house roofs, uproot billboards and trees. But we are by no means afraid of Mars's strong winds, because these winds have no power. For comparison, a 100 kilometers per hour wind on Mars has only as much power as a 10 kilometers per hour wind on Earth. And the reason for this is its thin atmosphere. We are not afraid of the strong winds there, but of the sunlight being blocked due to these dust storms. Because so far, all the solutions for sustaining a human colony that revolve around solar power, and if we don't get solar power for several months, life there could come to a standstill. On January 24, 2004, NASA's Opportunity rover landed on Mars. Its mission was originally for only 90 days, but it continued to conduct various experiments on the surface of Mars for the next 15 years. But one day, it encountered a very large dust storm. In 2018, NASA learned for the first time how dangerous Martian dust storms can be. During this time, the sunlight falling on Opportunity's solar panels decreased by up to 96%, and its battery was no longer able to charge. These pictures taken from Opportunity show how much sunlight the dust clouds blocked during 30 days. For a few months, Opportunity supported NASA, but after that, it went into deep sleep mode. NASA tried to contact it for months, but there was no reply. A year later, Opportunity's last message was received, which read, "My battery is low, and it's getting dark." After that day, no signal came from Opportunity. We hope you will also like and share this video from Dark Venture. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next wonderful video.